Back in the studio with Marley Marl and Portia, one of your new artists.
Yeah.
Portia, introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about you, what you've done before.
Well, my name's Portia Kirkland, and I'm from Jersey. And I met Marley at WBLS. My father was PD up at WBLS.
Program director.
Yeah, program director.
He was the boss.
He was the boss, right. And I was dancing at that time, I think, maybe for EPMD or The Real Roxanne. And I told Marley that I wanted more, and he was kind enough to take the opportunity to work with me, because he had a lot of people he was working with at the time. And he
So when you say you wanted more, you wanted to start singing, rapping?
Singing, even the business end of it. You know, dancers are behind scene most of the time, and they really don't get to explore, you know, really the music industry. So that's what I wanted to do.
So how long have you been out there now?
Dancing?
No, under Marley Marl's wing.
Well, it's been for about a month. Not that long.
Okay.
Not that long. The video was just released. And before that, dancing. I've been dancing all my life, so many years.
So what's your sound? What's your style?
R&B. I like soul.
So you're not a rapper?
Anything
then?
soulful. Oh, I can do that too, just as long as it's soulful.
Okay. Now, how do you work with that? Because your forte is rapping.
Yeah, I know, but you know, it seems like after the success of LL's project, that a lot of people are starting to get in touch with me to do R&B remixes, and a lot of R&B acts are coming to me for production. So you know, this is just another way of me not wanting to stay at the same level, but me trying to expand. So you know, I do R&B tracks too.
Why'd you pick him? Just because you knew him before?
No, well, I was a hip-hop dancer, so I could relate to his feel of hip-hop. But at the same time, I was into music, so together we can collaborate. He can give me the hip-hop, and I can give him the R&B, and we put it together. And I knew he was that person. He was that person at the time.
So when you say that you're thinking about the business side also, are you thinking about producing?
Eventually. Eventually. I have a good person to
follow.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else do you want to do, Portia? Because you've done dancing.
Continue college. Continue college. I was in Fairleigh for 2.5 years. Maybe go back to Alvin Ailey. And
what were you studying in college?
Psychology and communications. I want to be a clinical psychologist as well.
Good for you.
So
she got it going on, huh?
Got it going on.
Real busy. Yeah. So how do you find time to do all of this together, plus think about becoming a clinical psychologist?
It's easy.
So have you stopped school?
I went on leave of absence, and I pursued this because everything started happening at once, and at that time I started dancing with LL and EPMD. So to be a clinical psychologist, you just got to be there in school and have your mind on that. So it wasn't the right time. I didn't feel it was the right time to waste
But you still want to go back to it?
Oh, yes, definitely.
But what if you take off and you become like Anita Baker or somebody? You still want to go back?
Yeah, because I'll still be somebody.
Okay,
I'll still be somebody. And it seems so simplistic, but you never know, you know, when that's going to end. And a clinical psychologist takes the time out to help others, and that's very important to me.
You have any interest in getting out of R&B or expanding your whole repertoire from R&B and rap to maybe just jazz or even picking up some blues?
Jazz is actually where I started. I had no choice. My mother had no choice.
Explain that story.
Yeah,
Mommy said, do this.
My stepfather, Carter Jefferson, was a big saxophone player at the time for Gene Korn, Norman Connors, Phyllis Hyman, and I would go on the road with them a couple of times. So, yeah, maybe eventually. But I like soul. I like hard soul. Marley, whatever, he funked me.
Do you want to see her branch off into some other avenues?
Yeah, I want to see her be as successful as possible, because I know that when people come through my camp and blow up, like such as the Bizzes, the Big Daddy Kanes, when they blow up, it just reflects on me, because everybody realizes where they came from. So it just gives me props.
Since you have all that behind you, what's your most memorable experience?
With any of the artists?
Uh-huh.
All right, I'll tell you, this is a real funny story. This is the truth. When we was doing Mama Said Knock You Out with LL, right, we had an engineer that was working with us, and he always used to mess up, right? He always used to mess up, and LL was screaming on him. At the beginning, the Mama Said Knock Your He's like, come on, man! And that's the beginning of the record.
Right.
He was actually screaming on the engineer. And it was so funny, and we just happened to be recording at the time. And every time I hear it, I could just picture that moment.
And it makes you
It
laugh.
just makes me laugh so hard.
But it's
so
good,
funny.
though.
Yeah,
because it worked.
It did, it did. And the intensity of his voice, he was just so mad at the engineer for messing up so much. That's the intensity in the record, and it worked.
All right.
It worked.
We're going to check it out. Mama Said Knock You Out